I'm giving away 1% of myself in the $1,100 main event for the Wynn Tournament Series on September 5th. All you got to do is comment on this video for 1% of myself in that tournament. I'll be picking one random person to get that. Second off, I'm playing 2-5 tonight at the Wynn cash. Let's see what happens. I've been playing a ton of poker. The last session I lost for the first time, but today we're going to get back on our winning ways. I hope you enjoy the vlog. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. Let's see what happens tonight. Playing the opponent is more important than playing your own cards. I got King Jack of Diamonds. It gets raised to 15 early. I make the call. The player behind me 3-bets to 60. The original raiser calls, and because he did, I also make the call. We're going to a flop 3 ways, $185 in the middle. The flop comes out 9-3-4 rainbow. First player checks. I check to the 3-better. He also checks. We're headed to a turn card. I'm thinking that neither player connected with this low board on a rainbow, so there might be an opportunity to bet depending on the turn card if it doesn't come higher than the 9. It's a great turn card. The deuce of clubs is a nice brick. First player checks. I decide to size up and bet pretty big here because I want to see if my opponents have any type of hand they can call with, but I don't think they do. I'm correct. The 3-better folds. The other player folds. We take down an $185 pot with king high. We played our opponents. We didn't play our own cards. I laid the trap on my opponent with ace high. I have ace queen offsuit under the gun. I make it 15 to go. I get 3-bet to 45. Everybody folds. It's back around to me. I make the call. We're going to a flop heads up. The flop comes out 7-7-5. I check. There's 2 clubs on the flop. My opponent also checks. Now when he checks on this flop, I'm thinking that he doesn't have an overpair to this board. He probably has an ace king, ace queen, ace jack type of hand. The turn card comes out the 5 of spades. Now we both probably have ace high, but I want to figure out a way to win this pot. And what I do is I bet very small, looking like I'm weak. I bet $30 into a pot of 100, and my opponent raises me to 125. Now I'm thinking he's probably got ace high. Now I could get him to fold this hand if I re-raised his bet of 125, and that's exactly what I do. I look like I'm betting for value here. I make it 275. My opponent thinks for a bit. He ends up folding his cards. I think we had the same hand, which was ace high. I didn't want to chop this hand, so I kept betting, and I got my opponent to fold to take down a nice pot. I snap called my opponent with 3rd pair on the river. Was I good? We got 4-6 of diamonds. I'm in the big blind. It gets raised to 15 by the cutoff. I make the call. We're going to a flop heads up. The flop comes out 8-deuce-3 with 2 hearts. We flop a gut shot. There's 2 hearts on the board. I check into my opponent. He bets $15 on the flop. I quickly make the call. We're now going to a turn. The turn comes out the 6 of clubs, which is a great card. We turn a pair. We still have a gut shot, and now there's 2 flush draws on the board. I want to try to get some fold equity out of my hand, so I decide to bet $50 and lead out on the turn card. There's not that many rivers that are going to be good for us. There's so many draws, and I want to make him pay to see it. He makes the call. We are now going to a river. The river comes out the 9 of diamonds. Pretty much every draw misses. I want to now give my opponent the opportunity to bluff at this pot because I think he had a flush draw and he missed. I decide to check on the river. My opponent starts cutting out chips. He bets $70 or $80 and I snap call him. He flips over ace deuce. He had bottom pair, ace deuce of hearts. He missed his flush draw. He had exactly what we thought he had. We snap called with 3rd pair, and we won the pot because every draw missed, and we decided to make the call. Playing over pairs out of position can put you in tough spots. I got pocket queens under the gun +2. Under the gun makes it 15 to go. I raise it up to 55. It gets around to the button, and he 4-bets this pot up to 170. Now I could 5-bet it here with pocket queens, the third best hand in all of poker, but I opted to just flat call. I'm out of position. I probably should have 5-bet considering I'm out of position, but I decided to flat and we're going to a flop. It comes out 8-6-8 rainbow, which is a very strong flop for pocket queens. I check into my opponent now. He continues for 115 on this flop. I don't want to raise here and get called by better. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have an 8. I'm putting him on ace king, ace queen, aces, kings, jacks, a hand like that. I decide to flat call the 115, and now we go to the turn. The turn card comes the 9 of spades. No flush draws are out there. There is a straight, but I don't feel like he has any middling cards. I check again on this turn. My opponent decides to slow down and check on the turn, which now makes me think that my hand is definitely good. The river card comes out, the 3 of spades. It's a brick, doesn't affect the board. I decide to check again, now letting my opponent bluff into me if he decides to do that. If he bets, I'm definitely going to call. I didn't want to bet here because I think my opponent is folding when I bet, so that's why I decided to check. He also checks. I say pocket queens. He puts his cards into the muck. We defend our big pocket pair and we win a nice size pot. Why couldn't my opponent have had something in this hand? I have ace king with the ace of spades, king of clubs. I'm in the big blind. It gets raised to 15. Because I'm out of position, I decide to up my sizing. 3-bet up to 75. My opponent calls. We now head to a flop. It's the best possible flop for my hand. It comes out ace 10-4 with 3 clubs. We flopped a nut flush draw and top pair of aces. Because we flopped so strong, I decided to check on the flop and deceive my opponent. And maybe later on in the hand, we'll get some money in. My opponent checks behind me. We're now headed to a turn card. It comes the 8 of spades, and now I definitely have to bet with my hand. Get some equity with the flush draw. We also have top pair. I overbet on the flop to make it seem pretty bluffy. I bet 150 into a pot of 150. I guess it was equal to the pot. My opponent quickly folds his cards. I was trying to deceive him, but I guess he didn't catch anything on that board. Crazy. I angle shot my opponent by mistake in this hand. We have king queen offsuit. Under the gun +1 raises to 15. We're on the button. There's a caller in front of me. I make the call. Small and big make the call. We're going to a flop 5 ways. The flop comes jack 6 deuce, all spades. I have the king of spades in my hand, and I thought I had the queen of spades, but it was actually the king. That's why when my opponent bet out on the flop, I looked like I was going to fold my cards. I took it back. The cards were still in my hands, and I ended up calling his bet. The turn card comes the 4 of clubs, and my opponent bets 75 into the pot. Now I want to get some value out of my king of spades, so I decide to raise it up to 225. We're in position. If my opponent has a jack, we're putting him in a tough spot, but he makes the call, and now we're going to a river. The river is the 4 of diamonds. I brick my flush draw. My opponent, he checks on the river card, and now I want to make it seem like I'm going for value. I decided to bet 300, which is about a half pot size bet. Looking back on this hand, I probably should have bombed it and bet 500 or 600, because if he has a jack, I'm pricing him in to call with a $300 bet. Instead, if I bet more, 500 or 600, he's probably more incentivized to fold. My opponent thought about the decision for about a minute and a half, eventually talks about the angle that happened earlier in the hand I did by mistake, throws his cards into the muck, and the value bet bluff gets through. We win a big pot here. I ended up running up my chip stack to 2,800, but I couldn't video the rest of it because I was getting a massage for about 45 minutes. We won most of the important hands that were played today. Remember to comment on this video. I have a tournament, $1,100 main event at the Wynn. I'm giving away 1% to somebody that comments on this video. I'll pick the winner a few days before the tournament. If you love the content, please subscribe to the channel. I'm working really hard. I'm giving you guys amazing poker content. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.